Let's go like this. Okay, so although our call is being recorded, when we put this one up, you won't appear on the recording. You want your words, your volume, your audio, and your video won't appear on the recording. So we're just recording it through Zoom for more for our purpose, education, improvement, all that sort of stuff. So if you're able to, it'd be so awesome if you guys could come here, have videos on, and join the group, join the room. That'd be so awesome. It will make what we're about to do tonight so much easier for me to facilitate and coach, and you'll get more out of it as well. Just going to bring up the chat. Let's see. Let's do a little, we're going to do something just before we get into it. Just little check-in, little how you going. Need to sneak off at 7:15. All good. All good. I'll speak really fast. Hey, so what we'll do is we'll just do a little check-in, little how you going in the chat box. Pop in how you doing, how things have been going, little update, and what you've been working on and what's been going well. Try and focus on the positive, and we'll get into obstacles soon. So what you've been working on, what's been going well, and what are your wins. We'll focus on that. So pop that into the chat. Oh, nice fade out, Chris. That was awesome. What you been working on, and wins, and going well. Cool. All right, and got your supplements going down. Sleep's going well. Had a meeting with me. Loving all the new recipes. Yay! So good. I love it. It was awesome catching up, Ange. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. How are you, Rach, and what you been doing? What's been going well? Nicole, what's been going well? Haha, it was scary. Awesome. Cool, Rach. Have noticed huge wins with my sups and helping with symptoms. Amazing! So good at supplements are great at getting you into a more resourceful state, aren't they? It's like a I think it's like first gear. I was thinking about this analogy the other day. You know, you get in your car, jump onto the highway, to start driving, start getting on the highway, start going fast, you kind of got to go into first gear. And so supplements get you moving. You might feel like you're a bit stuck or stalled in life prior to that. And so first year gets you moving, hey? Get you off the blocks. And then getting into second gear and shifting through the gears and making progress through the gears is that's the next step. I love it. There we go. So let's see. Vicky, working on not eating chocolate at work. Cool. And how's that been going? What's been going well in that regards for not eating the chocolate? So like instead of saying I have not been eating any chocolate, what have you been doing? Either instead or better choices or something like that. Like what's your wins? What's going well there? Cool. Groovy. That's going well. Nice. So good. All right. And Rachel, definitely able to focus on other areas rather than just down in the dumps. Yeah, I get ya. Nicole, the seared scallops for dinner were awesome. That was a win for the day. Yum. Got any extras? Sounds good. Actually, how did you cook the Brussels sprouts, Phil? Because they were gold. Well, there was sugar, wasn't there? There was. Oh, that's why it was gold. Did you go all Swedish chef on it? Like, well, that came out really delicious. It's probably like 700 grams of sugar. Right. Seared scallops for dinner were awesome. Going well at putting one foot in front of the other. That's good. Working on trying not to get too overwhelmed by life. Awesome. And then I guess the next question for everybody is what's coming up? What are you noticing as some buts? I'm doing this, but, or you might notice some, this is really holding me back. It might be glaringly obvious. It might just be alarm bells ringing, or it might be just kind of like a little thing. It's like, I'm going really well. Kind of just this little thing is coming up for me. Like what's coming up for you guys? What's the resistance? What are the blocks? By the way, good to have you, Warren. Glad you could join us tonight. While you're able to, Warren, just pop in the chat if you can. Once you get all settled and sorted, what have you been working on? What's been going well is part one, and then part two is what's been coming up for you. So yeah, what's been coming up for everybody, and need to block out some time to work on some Spark activities. Yeah, cool. I like that second word, need. I'd be interested to know like the clarity around that. Like, is it a need, or is it I probably should, and there's kind of like this guilt in there, but there's other things that are more important. Yeah, you want? Cool. Awesome. How much time can you give? Is like an hour too much? Is half an hour? I mean, what's realistic? It could be anything really. While you're having to think about that, Rach, struggling with making time to work through the phases within the activities. You mean Spark stuff, Rach? If that's the case, this is kind of like a nice little you and Ange have a similar sort of want there, hey? Like with time. What's the minimum? What's the smallest little tiny itty bitty teeny weeny bit of time that you could chunk out. Like Philly's got this book that she got from Jamin called the 1 Minute Coach, Phil, or 2 Minute Coach. Don't want to be greedy. 1 minute. Yeah, it's not 2 minutes. That's too much time. Ain't nobody got time for 2 minutes. Is the 1 Minute Coach. And it's just like a really, really simple start to the day, just a little bit of introspection. And there's no rule. Obviously, if you can sit down and go sit on the beach for 3 days straight and have a servant fan you and bring you things, you'd probably be able to get done a lot of stuff. But we don't live in that make-believe fantasy world. We live in the real world with families and kids and partners and work and study and all this sort of stuff, right? So realistically, what's the minimum? Because it doesn't our saying is do the minimum, be the maximum. Do the minimum, be the maximum. So what I mean by that is do the very least that you need, the minimal effective dose, but be the maximum. Be the most that you can be in any particular, not do the most, it's be the most. If you're fatigued and you're absolutely cooked, your being ability is not the same as when you're not cooked and when things aren't stressful. Hope that makes sense. I'm just gonna try and hide myself. There we go. Every time I talk, my face just comes up. I'm like I'm talking to the mirror. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. Warren, managed to sign a contract on a new house. Now just trying to stay focused on the end game, not getting too stressed out, anxious in the process of setting our place up for sale. Borska. Yeah. So Rach, I don't know if that helps you out with what I just said before. And Warren, you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with the volume of stuff to get through with the Spark modules too. Big struggle to get an hour to watch the videos. Yeah. The cool thing is you can just pause it and just come back to it. Just chip away at it. And if you forget where you're at, just rewind it to where you get up to. Eventually you'll start sinking in if you keep rewinding and watching it. I'm okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, well, there might be some like little perfectionism coming in, sinking in from there somewhere. But what's the minimum you can do, and what's the maximum you can be, or who's the maximum you can be? Let's see what else we got. Rach. Oh, cool comment. I'm struggling with the guilt of doing it when my kids are awake and then my husband having to do bath and bed stuff, which then pushes me to do it after they've gone to bed, and then I'm exhausted. Yeah, cool. That mama guilt culturally happens more with mums, with dads. Hey. So that's probably a little model that you can do. I don't know if you know anybody who is able to just kind of set some boundaries, get some self permission to do the work, and we call our partners for a reason, right? Sometimes we need to change the way the game is played. So maybe that before you can do modules, maybe it's worth having a conversation with your partner, with your husband, about time and space and energy and roles and responsibilities and that sort of stuff. And I think being vulnerable and open and just saying, I feel so guilty. That's pretty cool language to use. Oh, see, Ange, that's pretty cool language to use with a partner because it's honest. It's how you feel. I feel, and then insert blank, like whatever, however you're feeling. Philly, what'd you say? Working through some coursework at the moment myself, getting through them, listening to them more like a podcast while I go for a walk, drive the car, cook dinner, etc. That might be helpful. Approaching the Spark recordings. Yeah. There's some stuff that we talk about that's deep concepts that's going to take a little bit of brain power and a bit of focus attention. If you miss that stuff, or if it kind of goes over your head because of where you're at in your life and you're not 100% dialed in and focused and got your attention on what you're hearing and seeing and learning, it's all good. There's recording. Go back and do it again. The way we've designed it is so that it's this iterative process that you can just keep going over and over again until it sticks. Rach, you said he's on board with it. Happy for you to do it, but is very much me giving myself permission to put myself first for once. Cool. The outlet question stuff. If you have an hour to brain dump and journal, amazing. But we also have clients who are doing the outlet by simply thinking about the questions process throughout the day. One way is more structured and works for some. The other way is more flowy and also works for some. Journaling for me looks really different to journaling for other people who are very systematic and detailed and able to stick to a routine. For me, I feel good when I have a nice pen or a pencil. I have two options. I have a mechanical pencil that I feel good. I understand this might sound fluffy, but I have a mechanical pencil that feels good in my hand. It's a pleasure to use. It's one little thing that I don't have to worry about. I get to pick up a pencil that feels good. Imagine picking up a pencil that kind of hurts, or it's not pretty, or it's not beautiful. It's just one little bit of resistance to something there's already a little bit of resistance to. So I found getting a pen or a pencil that's really nice, getting a book that's a pleasure to write in. And I've got one that's Japanese, and it's got a really nice faint line grid in there. It's a pleasure to write in. It's a pleasure to hold in my hand. I'm using this language on purpose. It really is a pleasure. And I enjoy taking stuff out of my head and putting it onto the paper. And I've made it a part of my life. In the morning, almost every morning, I spend some time at the beach reflecting and thinking about my life, myself, my relationships, important components of my life. If I was doing Spark, it would be at that time that I would listen to a lesson. And knowing me, I would get through probably about 5 minutes of a lesson, and I would pause it and I would reflect on what's being said, and I would think about how that applies to me. I personally don't have an issue with just doing a little tiny bit and then journaling and writing down thoughts. That's how I do it. Or you could do like what Philly said. You can go for a walk, listen to it more like a podcast. I feel like the more you can internalize it and apply it to yourself, the better it will be. But you just do the minimum. Cool. Hi, Linda. Good to have you. Excited you're here. We are just checking in with everybody and seeing what you've been working on, what's been going well, what are your wins. And so working on and wins, and what's been coming up is a bit of resistance along the way. So if you pop that into the chat, and then we'll keep pushing through. Tonight, what I really want to do is I want to start with a little bit of breathing with you guys. And it would be so cool if I could see somebody. If you're able, I'd love to. I really would love to be able to see your faces. I'm honest. I don't get. You're not gonna get the best out of me if I don't see your faces. I'm a better coach. Rather, it's kind of like I'm on a telephone call, but you don't have to. Yay, there we go. And I think it's interesting to note, like, just have a think about if there's some resistance to screens on. That's really cool knowledge. Just maybe write that down. Get that out of your head. Have a think about it. Not get that out of your head as in, you naughty person, don't think those things. Be grateful for that reflection. It's like, I'm not comfortable, or I don't want to, or whatever. I just have to change a computer for it. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Depends on what you wear to bed. So what we'll do, we're just going to do a little bit of breathing. I think Rachel's just going to change computers and she'll be back soon. But what did you say, Linda? Thinking about it, listening, often sitting with the information to reflect. Cool. Yeah. That's what you've been working on. So what I want to do is do a little bit of do a little bit of breathing. And I just want to talk to you about diaphragmatic breathing and the power of diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing, have you guys heard of that, or you're aware of that? Have we talked about that with you guys yet? Cool. So on your belly, let's go bring that down a bit. So just below your sternum, just below where your xiphoid process is, you'll have like a little protrusion, like a little kind of mound or a bump. You might have to press in, or you might visibly be able to see it and feel it. So you can press into that. Press in as hard as you're comfortable, just with your fingers, and then just take a deep breath and see if you can notice, just bring your awareness to your fingers as you breathe in. It might be uncomfortable. That's okay. It's just a teaching point. When I do that, when I breathe in, underneath my fingers, I feel my fingers get pushed up by my diaphragm. So when I breathe in and I'm pressing into my diaphragm, I feel the air push my fingers up. So just everybody notice that as you push your fingers into your diaphragm and you breathe in, there's a pushing out or a pressing out. Now, just so you know what it feels like to go excessively, too much, what I want you to do, just bring your awareness and do that. Just go OTT, over the top. Do it like too much. So, and like you breathe and you feel like you actually, sometimes you like you might actually push your belly out. And so that's too much. And you also might feel like if you might feel like you've dinner up. Yeah. So if you do it like that, that's too much. Another breathing error is when you breathe in forcefully, you might notice your shoulders shrug up. So what I want you to do is focus on breathing in and let your shoulders go up. Feel what that feels like. So breathe in and you notice your shoulders pop up. Let's do it a few times. And that's over the top as well. We kind of don't want so much to have our shoulders raise up. All right. So notice, hi Teddy. Notice how possible it is for you to not like really excessively raise your shoulders and not excessively push your belly out so you feel like you have to vomit. Just notice that your diaphragm can lift a little bit. It moves. It kind of pulls down to make space for your lungs to expand. So just everyone, just take a moment just to take a few deep breaths and just notice that area of your body moves. There's movement in your diaphragm when you breathe. Any holes that go like nose, mouth, doesn't matter for this. All right. When we shrug, it's a stress response. So if you feel like you've got tight shoulders or a sore neck and you kind of carry your stress up in your shoulders and you carry your stress up in your neck, sometimes that's because you're breathing through those muscles and they're not designed. They can assist with forced breathing, like if you're running or running away from a tiger or something like that, chasing a robber around the backyard, whatever. You know, that's important. We're super grateful that can happen, but we want to recognize, hey, we're not actually being chased by a tiger. We're not chasing a robber. We're not in a fight for our life kind of situation. So there's no need for us to have this stress response, at least not all the time. So just focusing on breathing. Some people call it belly breathing. So breathing into your body and feeling your belly take the breath. And as you breathe deeply, you also might notice that after you've fully breathed into your belly, you notice your chest expand. So your belly first, chest second, belly first, chest second, belly first, chest second. And that's a full breath, almost. Now I'm going to confuse you. Hey, Rach. So now the next thing is, now I do want your shoulders to take the breath. I want you to breathe into your belly first, then feel your chest expand, your ribs open up, and then your shoulders will lift a little bit. Not like a full shrug, disappearing neck trick. It's... Can you see that with me? I should have worn a different color shirt. Breathing in through my belly, then my chest expands, then my shoulders. You can see that my neck kind of disappeared a little bit, but this is a shrug. All right. That's too much, but your shoulders will lift a little bit in a full breath. Okay, so that's a full breath. So what we're going to do now is we're going to spend 6 minutes breathing. And this is a slow and controlled diaphragmatic breathing, really breathing in as deep as you can in 4 seconds. So I want you to get belly, chest, all the way to the top of your chest full in 4 seconds. It's actually quite challenging when you do it like that. So just take a moment right now just to practice a full deep breath in your own time. Belly, chest, top of the chest. Belly, chest, top of the chest. And then when you breathe out, it'll go down in reverse. It's like shoulders down, chest in, belly in. Just notice that your body can do that. And then we're going to try really to breathe in in 4 seconds, get a fullness of breath in 4 seconds without a full power shrug, okay? The other thing we're going to try and do is we're going to breathe out slow, 6 seconds out. So 6 seconds is 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000. So it's quite a slow breath out. Okay, and we'll go for we're going to go for 6 minutes. So I'm going to pop on some tunes. Let's see if this works. And we're going to go for 6 minutes. All right. So find a comfortable place to sit. You probably don't want to be driving. So I'm not sure if Nicole, you're doing that. And you don't want to be operating heavy machinery, just in case you're watching the replay of this. All right. Find a place to sit comfortably, back not super rigid and stiff, but just, as straight as you possibly can, sitting comfortable or laying or leaning, whatever you want to do. And some people find it helpful to close down the eyes, just soften the face. All right. So with that being said, we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 6 in 3, 2, 1. Breathing in and then breathe out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Might notice a bit of dizziness, and that's okay. Stop if it's too uncomfortable. Breathing in all the way and breathing out. Breathing in all the way. Breathing out. Breathing in all the way and out. 2 minutes down. Breathing in all the way and out. In all the way and out. In all the way and out. In and out. out. Breathing in and out. Fully in and out. Fill yourself up within and out, all the way out. Fully in and out. Full inhale and out. Breathing in and out. Fully breathe in and a longer exhale. Full inhale and out. Fullness of breath and out. Fully in and out. 90 seconds to go. Breathing in and out. Breathe into the belly, chest, top of chest, and out. Like a wave. Breathing in like a wave, belly, chest, top of chest, and breathing out all the way. Fill your body up and then empty. Fully in and everything out. Fully in and fully out. Oh, yes, good. Fully inhale and fully out. Fully in, 2 more, and out. Last breath in and last breath out. Excellent, good job. And just sitting there in the silence, just noticing what happens to your body. Notice any tingling. Just in the silence, in the quiet, just sitting. Good job. And while you're sitting there, just keeping your eyes closed and just try and notice what you notice. Bring your attention to your senses. What do you hear? Hearing my voice, hearing that come up. Might be noises in your house, a clock or a kid, or you might notice the sound of your breathing or your heartbeat or something else. Just notice that. Not have any judgment, just notice. Like a little mental tick. I notice that. I can hear that. And as you notice those things, see if you can bring your attention to what you can feel. What are you noticing in your body? Noticing any sensations, twitching or any tingling or stinging or aching or anything that might notice? If you don't notice anything, then that's also okay. No judgment. And then bring your attention to smell. What do you smell? You smell your husband? Or if you're a husband, can you smell yourself? Can you smell your wife? Can you smell somebody else? Your dog? Dinner? What can you smell and sense? What about in your mind? Can you see anything? Is there any movies playing in your mind? Are there anything? Is there anything that's just repeatedly happening, and you're imagining it, and you're remembering it without judgment? Just notice that too. Little tick. I'm noticing me notice something. And as you notice those things, just notice that you're here now. You're not in the future. You're not in those experiences in your mind. You're here now, aren't you? You notice that, don't you? This is the power of mindfulness. As you take a big, deep breath now, just take a big, deep breath through your belly into your chest. And notice as you breathe out, you just did that. Notice that. Take another big, deep breath and notice that you're doing that too. Here and now. Good job. This is your anchor. Your breathing is your anchor. It brings you back to here and now. When your mind is somewhere else, when you're afraid or when you're worried or anxious, your breath is your personal, completely free of charge, currently, free of charge anchor. It brings you back to here. You know you're here when you're focused on your breath. Can't be anywhere else. So coming back to here and now in the room, opening your eyes, just relaxing. I'd love to know how that was for you. I saw a couple of yawns, and like, how was that when you were breathing and then you yawned? How was that experience? How did that feel? No, and there's no judgment. I just want to know about the feeling. Either in chat or go off mute and let us know. Whatever's easiest. If you're a typer, type. If you're a talker, talk. But yeah, how was that for you? I'm a massive fan of breathing. Breathwork it's easy. Brings me to here and now. If I'm feeling stress, if I'm feeling something in my body, I do some breathing. That one that I just did with you, 4 and 6, so 4 in, 6 out. We call that a circle breathing, but it's kind of like, there'd probably be like an oval breathing, really. 4 in, 6 out. But if it was triangle breathing, there'd be a little bit of retention in there. It'd be a hold somewhere. If it was box breathing, a square, you breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. But so circle is kind of like in, out, even though the numbers were a little bit not even. Warren, you felt like it was calming. Awesome. Yeah, and it's been a big few days, hey, so your body's like kind of tired, and it's just sometimes it's nice to just not have that obligations of doing anything. You can just your doing is just sitting listening to someone tell you to breathe. Philly, your body was craving that. Tingles in my hand. Yeah, cool. Then a wave of emotion, teariness when you brought in the wave metaphor. Obviously needed to dislodge something. Cool. An immense gratitude for my body and how it's communicating with me. I love that. I love it. Tingling sometimes happens for a few reasons. It can be metaphoric. It can be spiritual. It can also be due to breathing and carbon dioxide. Or, sorry, not carbon dioxide. Oxygen. Nicole, that was awesome. Cool. I yawned through a lot of it. Awesome. That's so cool. I love it. I love when I sit down with you busy people and I do some breathing, and then there's like, I've done this in a group, a big group before, like 20, 30 people, and there were yawns everywhere. Everyone was yawning. And it wasn't nobody was keeping to time, but it was a significant number of yawns. And I thought there's a couple of ways I could think about that. And one really good way is, gosh, you guys must really need to yawn. You must be really tired. And so that's nice. Breathing is great. Yeah, and it could be also about stress, like you said there, Phil. Love being present. Cool. Awesome. Rach, you notice your thoughts started as, this is hard. Yeah, I can't take a full deep breath. Then as I thought, it's okay, I noticed it got easier and less force. Certainly yawned as well. Yeah, how good is it when that judgment, stress is totally internal, isn't it? I just went to lift my glasses up because I was, that's so funny. I didn't have them on. Stress, do you ever do that, Rachel? Phil? They're not on you and you go. Stress is largely internal. Stress is largely internal, and it's largely our choice. Largely. So it usually comes down to an opinion issue, but we'll talk about that later. What I really want to do is talk about stories and use this time to just get some stories out of your head. And just think about where you're at in your journey. I'm going to share my screen. This is called The Hero's Journey. And, oh, nope, gotta fire up my iPad back again. One moment, please. I'm going to share a little bit about the hero's journey. Have you guys heard about the hero's journey before? Oh, this is awesome. Joseph Campbell came up with the hero's journey in his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Harry Potter, Star Wars, there's any myth, any big story sticks to the hero's journey. And if I share my screen here, let me bring this up. This one. So hopefully you guys can see that. Hang on, go back to it. I want to find a big one. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, is that showing for you? So there's, let me see if I can go. Hang on. Bring up a different one that's just a little bit easier to see. I think this is easier to see. No, that's not easier to see. Should have printed one out. That's okay. Shoulda. There you go. There's a judgment. All right. So in the hero's journey, we start in the ordinary world. And the ordinary world is life as normal. So I really want you guys to just take a moment to think about what's normal for you. And a hero in the hero's journey will think, this is the land that I'm happy in. I want to do this. I want to do that. I should be able to do this. I should be able to do that. It's this land that sometimes lives in your mind that you kind of wish you could stay there forever. For me, it would be when I was 26. I was athletic as heck. I was so fast. I could jump through the roof. I could put if I jumped, I could hit the top of my head on the basketball hoop. I was super athletic. I was very fast. Lots of ego stroking athletic achievements, massive amounts. And sometimes in my head, I think I'm still that 26-year-old. And when I play basketball with my brothers-in-law and Philly's cousins and stuff, and I'll hit like a shot and it's like a really cool move, I'll be like, 2006 Chris is in the house, baby. And in the very next moment, 2023 Chris definitely shows up. But the ordinary world, what is your ordinary world? What's the mythical land that you wish you could still be in, but it's your version of the 2006 world for me, right? What's your fairy tale land that you wish you could be, but you know you're kind of actually not there anymore? What do you wish? Might not even be like what you wish. It's what are you noticing now that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not in Kansas anymore, right? That's another example. Dorothy leaves Kansas in a tornado. We're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. What's your not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy moment of your life? What's your wake up call? Have a little think about that. Frodo Baggins was the Shire. He left the Shire, went on an adventure. Maybe give some realistic examples. Yeah. So, for example, physical, like for me, it's my ability to do. I based my identity on what I could do. And for me, when I couldn't do those things, I had an ego, identity, existential crisis. My world came crashing down. So I had this time in my life where my ordinary world was just not, it didn't exist anymore. So Warren, I feel like my normal is tired, stressed, and busy, perhaps not quite in control of everything. Not really sure I can think of a time when I didn't feel this way, possibly when I was 17 years old. Cool. And what happened when you were 17? Is your fairy tale land, like maybe that's kind of, I know that might sound like insulting, but if we roll with it, like where's your fairy tale land it's this mythological land that's, that you're not in that land anymore. You're not 17 anymore, Warren. Like tough love kind of thing, right? It's what could you do or what did you have when you were 17 that maybe you're holding on to, that you if you close your eyes and you're like, yeah, I wish I could go back to there. carefree, didn't care what other people think, had freedom to do all the things. I added the all in there, to do things, having time to myself. Cool. That sounds nice, right? It's like that's your Kansas. That's your mythical land. Nicole, for me, it was a time with less responsibility, more freedom. Right. Now, imagine you're writing a story. So, has everyone got a pen and a paper? Grab your pen and paper and write the start of the story. It could go something like this: once upon a time, or it could be in a galaxy far, far away, or it could be a long time ago, or it was the year 2006. I was a athletic beast. Something like that. Write the start of your story. So Nicole, when was that for you? When was that exactly the time where you had less responsibility, had more freedom? And it could be your story could start when you were really, really little. If you've got a story before big events happened in your life, it could be before those big events. Philly, some science. When we talk in metaphors, i.e. the fantasy story, you're tapping into your unconscious mind. And as you're building out this story, you're placing prompts into your unconscious mind where all your stories, patterns, and programs are stored to make something new. It's almost like a form of hypnosis. Yeah, cool. So write the start of your story it was 2000. It all started, like you might start the story like that. It all started when I was blah, blah, blah. It all started XYZ. We're not just doing this because Chris likes Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Not only, but he does like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Okay, so we've got, have you guys written that down? It's like, it all started when I was blah, blah, blah. And then I have a memory of an amazing run in Eden up a large hill, which I smashed, then saw the water and a bird dive into the ocean, and I can smell the rain, and it was quiet and magical. Ooh, I like it. Is that like Eden, as in real life Eden? Or like Garden of Eden? Yes, real life Eden. Is there a place called Eden? Cool. So, okay, so that's the start of the story. Then, for me, it was, I turned around at practice. I was really tired. I turned around doing a basketball move and I dunked it and I landed on my teammate and my knee. I tore my meniscus, bruised my bone. My knee kind of did what's it called? Subluxed. Is that right, Linda? Like where it comes out and goes back in. Is that right? I did that, and and it was all downhill from there, physically. I started becoming an old man at the age of 26. So what's your landing poorly? What's your slap in the face? What's your moment of your life where things kind of came crashing down? For Dorothy, remember Dorothy, she was in Kansas. Life was all black and white. And then she got taken away in a tornado. Do you remember that song in Wizard of Oz? And she gets taken away. What's your whirlwind? What happened where life as you know it changed forever, really? Maybe, but it changed how you knew it. What happened? So add that into your script, into your story. If you guys, while you're doing this, if you want, as we do this tonight, This is really, really cool practice. Our podcast. Have you guys listened to our podcast? I've got one. Warren, I don't know. You might like our one. Have you heard our episode this week, Warren? Particular? Cool. Phil, if you've got the link, can you put it into the chat for anyone who needs it? But this week it's starring me. So it's my story, and I actually am going through this, and I'm telling you my story in the podcast. Oh, thanks, Nicole. That's awesome. I'm so glad you enjoy them. So if you want to as we do the work tonight and I get you started on this, then you can listen to my story on the podcast, and you'll notice I follow the hero's journey. So you have this slap in the face, whirlwind moment where life as you know it changes. And then you've got this meeting of the mentor, this time where before that, you've got this refusal, the refusal of the call. So this is where you say, no, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave my life. I want to stay where I was, how I was. I want this to stay the same. This sucks. So what was your this sucks moment? What was your refusal moment, denial moment? What did that look like for you? Or how did that sound for you? How did that show up in your story? And you might have had this this might be a big thing, it might be a little thing. There's also a time when you meet somebody who helps you. So it might be you jumped onto Google and you forum hopped, or you might have gone to a GP and done some tests, or in the hero's journey, it's called meeting a mentor. But what did you try? So it all started in 2006. I fell on my teammate, had a horrific knee injury. Life as I knew it changed. I thought I became an old man overnight, and all the things that I thought I could do, just couldn't do them anymore. So I searched for some help. I got surgery from a doctor. I tried surgery. I tried to do stretching and rehab and all that sort of stuff. I got into strength and conditioning and weights training, and I got pretty good at that. And so what did you try? What's your thing? What have you tried when life wasn't normal for you anymore? What did you give a go? And what were your trials? What were your trials and what were your failures? What did you try and what did you try and, you might have heard us say, try not to use that language of failure, but in your words, what did you think you failed at? What did you give a crack at and not get anything out of? Kind of hit a brick wall. And as you're writing down these things, also think about your growth moment. How did you grow up? I learned I had to grow up. I learned I couldn't just keep playing sport. I learned that I couldn't just keep doing things the way I was doing. I got to this point where I had to make a choice. I either lost I was going through such a hard time. My business was struggling. So I either was going to lose my business. My relationship with Philly and my girls was awful at the time. I could lose my relationship. I could lose my family. My body was so banged up and broken that I thought I might even lose my life. I got to such a dark place in my life that I thought that was something that was going to happen. So what did you feel like you were going to lose? Or what have you felt like you were going to lose? And what choices have you had to make? And this might be pretty fresh, by the way, because Philly and I are meeting you in your burnout journey, body burnout journey. So this might be kind of recently, or it might be in the past, a long time. And so now you get to write about your challenges in the future pace, future tense. If you're in the middle of your story. So you might say something like, I learned that there were some growth experiences for me. I learned that there were some things that worked for my body, and I learned that there were some things that didn't work for my body. I learned how to use better language. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned already? Or what are some of the lessons that you know intuitively you're about to learn? You're on collision course with learning them. But write it as if it's happened. Write it as if it's happened, even if it has not yet. Write it as if it has happened, like past tense, even if you're making it up. These growth experiences. And now, as you do that, there's when people go into The Biggest Loser and they lose heaps of weight, and then they come home and almost everybody puts on the weight again, because they go into a place where everything is just focused solely on this one thing. The environment, the people, the place. There's no choice. But when they go back to the real world, the choices are there now, and so they make old habits come in, unless they really make some habitual changes of their lifestyle. What I'm getting at is, now, what's different as you make these changes and as you learn these lessons in your life? What's different going forwards? So you can say something like, I know now that insert lesson. For me, it's, I know now that my worth is not on what I can do. I know that my worth is not even who I am. I know that my worth is innate. I am enough. I've always been enough. So these are the lessons that I've learned, which takes a lot of pressure off me. What's the meaning behind that? So what are the lessons you've learned? Even if you haven't learnt them, what do you think you need to learn? And what are you going to learn? So write them in past tense. And then write how you're going to live your life in this new season, in this new world, in this new place. Luke Skywalker couldn't just be Luke the moisture evaporator farmer anymore. He was Luke Skywalker, son of oh, he didn't know he was son yet. He was Luke Skywalker, the Jedi. That's a new world. It's a new way of being. So what's your new way of being? What's your new rules? What's the new game you're playing? You've just leveled up. What's life like for you now? This is a story. This is your story. And you might be writing something like completely literal, or you might have a little bit of metaphor in there. And both of those are completely okay. And I think here's a good one. Yeah, there we go. So if you want to, you can screenshot that if you want to work on this. Have you got a Mac, Linda? Or you've got a PC? I don't know how to screenshot on a PC, but a Mac is Shift Command F4 or F3. Or I can do this. Go. Put this in. Here we go. Library. I'm going to share it into the chat. Send to my iMac. Oh, you got it? Oh, cool. Thanks, hon. Cool. So, what was your experience? What was that like for you tonight as you've gone through that process of writing a script, writing your story? What lessons came up? What insights did you get? And what questions have you got? I'll leave this up for a bit. Feel free to go off mute or punch something into the chat. And that might also work for everybody. Kind of therapeutic. You like the write your own ending part. Cool. Yeah. And after a while, I realized that I too woke up as a Jedi. I want to share that I finished my last sentence with, I will now live my life doing the minimum, but being the maximum. Whoa! Love that you mentioned that earlier, Chris. Thank you. You're welcome. That's awesome. I think I made that up. It's hard to know these days. I assume that anything good I borrowed, so it's probably from somebody else, but I definitely say it all the time. I hope someone really famous someday says, Chris, did you make that up? That sounds awesome. Then I can have some external validation. Cool. As I was writing it, I felt like, yeah, I can do this. I can be all this. Bam! Cue Rocky music. I love it. So good. Yeah, if you get a chance, listen to our podcast episode and you'll hear how I've written my hero's journey story. And my experiences. And I think it's really, I think it's powerful. This is a really cathartic process. All right. You are the hero. Yeah. it's actually really motivating thinking about your ending body burnout journey as the hero's journey. It's either do or die. Yeah. The other thing, Philly and I aren't the hero here. It's you. You are. Uh, as we start to talk about drama and being in the drama triangle and that sort of thing, like we're not the hero. We're not the rescuer. You are the hero. You are going through this journey yourself. We sit somewhere like a helper, mentor along the way. The wise guide that dies off or disappears at some point. Yeah. And that's actually really important distinction. And that sounds kind of funny saying that. Think about Obi-Wan Kenobi dies, right? Or goes to another plane of existence when Darth Vader chops him down with the lightsaber. Yoda does. And so we think for us, Philly and I, when Gandalf or Dumbledore, yeah, right. Gandalf falls down off the bridge of Khazad-dûm, and Dumbledore falls off the balcony. It's everywhere. I have goosebumps. Oh, look at that. So it is everywhere. It's in every story. So Philly and I aren't going to jump off any cliffs or into gaping chasms or anything like that. But we're going to leave you one day, and it's sooner or later, and it's going to be awesome because you will continue on your journey. You'll continue in your story, and I'm so excited to never see you again. No, I'm so excited because what that means is Philly and I have played a part in your story. Yay, that's cool. And you continue to live your life and go through that, and we share what we share, and we help where we help. But you're the hero. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't sound morbid or silly. In healthcare, patients go to their doctor or practitioner, and the doctor or practitioner is the expert. That is the hero. Oh, yeah. Yes. Phil, is it too noisy? Can you go off mute and say that? Because I think that's important. I'm okay if it goes over the ground. I'm okay if it doesn't go over the ground. Yeah, yeah. Mm, that's it. Mm. Dissipate. That's it. Philly's got a PhD in English literature, and my favorite thing to do is to notice when she uses the wrong words. So good. I want to be like the have a mention in the back of her book, like edited by husband Chris Billette. Terrible spleller. Cool. All right, guys. I think that's a wrap. I took this screenshot of you guys smiling. Just kidding. Cool. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for so good. The reason I have that on my iPad is I learned this thing. It doesn't matter. Anyway, big funny story. It's not funny if I tell it though. It's all good. Moving on. Hey, it's been awesome, guys. We will see you next week. If you've got any questions, let us know. Shoot us an email. Other than that, love yous. Have a good week. Let's go. See you guys. Take care. Bye, Linda. Bye, Nicole.